Thank you all for having me. I'm excited to talk today, mostly because I'm not as technical a presenter as many have had. This appearance actually violates one of my core rules, which is never follow Steph Gooch in a talk on FinOps. But I'm happy to be here. And I've just lost my screen. Here we go. So you guys can see my screen, correct?
Correct. You're good.
Okay, good. I wanted to just sort of as an introduction, my name is Rob Martin. I come to this through a long and winding road. So I started with Accenture in my early career, where I learned about collaboration and customer service. I then worked at the United States government, where I learned about governance and policy, more governance and policy than I could probably ever deal with. I worked then at a cloud reseller, where I learned about dealing with clouds for a FinOps platform vendor, where I learned about avoiding waste and how to improve our cloud value. And then finally, I worked at AWS, where I learned how the cloud services are actually built. So all of that led me to the FinOps Foundation, where I've been now for 2 years or so, and have been really enjoying being able to support the community of people who do this important job. So many of you are probably engineers. You are a real important part of the FinOps process and the FinOps practice in your organizations. And there are a lot of other folks who are involved in that as well, finance folks and procurement folks and leadership and everyone, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the foundation is here to really support all the people who are doing these jobs in organizations around the world. And so we build connections and community through our events and through our monthly summits and our meetups and all of the activities that you can do to meet other people who are actually working on the same problem of avoiding waste and improving value in cloud. We also support the community with education and certifications. We have now certifications as a practitioner, as an engineer who's supporting the FinOps practice in your organization. Those are kind of our entry-level foundational, fundamental certifications. And we have a FinOps certified professional program, which is more like a college course than a training course that takes a few months to get through. So that, and as well as persona-based training, internships, scholarships, job board, lots of ways to support the community in their education and certification. And last, we are a repository for a lot of the content, a lot of the practices and procedures and playbooks that help to do the FinOps job. And I'll talk about that towards the end. So as I said, I'm not very technical, and you're thinking to yourself, HTTP response codes, really? That's the level of technical content? Yes, unfortunately, that is going to be the level of technical content here. Because I want to touch on a bigger kind of meta point here, and that is that cloud changes everything. And this is going to be a common theme throughout the talk today, and something that you'll feel as you talk with more and more people, or as your organizations adopt cloud more completely. Cloud changes everything for everyone. Of course, it changes things for engineering, for the way that we build and run products, like any IT innovation. But this is also changing finance and procurement and product management and leadership. In fact, it's a bigger change probably for those other groups than for engineering, because while we've changed the way that we develop IT systems and solutions over the last 40 years, we haven't really changed how we buy the building blocks of IT since we stopped paying operating expense for rooms full of people to do the computing that our organizations needed. And many organizations don't really catch this need to change all the other processes around how they buy IT and how they manage and forecast that IT cost over time. They don't catch that right away. And when they do, where do most people start? Well, we start off optimizing using levers that are familiar to us from our past experience, right? So CIOs who have managed data centers for their whole careers, procurement people who have dealt with vendor purchases in the same way through their whole careers, start to manage things using negotiated discounts, right? That's the thing that we're comfortable with. It's the thing that I used to do when I bought things for the Department of Justice data centers. That's one of the first and most effective levers we can pull in a FinOps practice, right? To do the rate optimization, to make sure that we're buying things at the best possible price. And for big organizations, that's something that can still be a very effective thing. For a smaller organization, though, it may not be as effective a lever as it would have been in the world where you were buying resources, buying SANs and servers and things for your data center. And when we look at the things that we're buying, when we buy committed use discounts or RIs or savings plans, even negotiating pricing, those are reactive. Those are going to be reactive to what we're running in the past. They're generally going to be recommended based on what we've run. And if we have this really variable use of cloud, which we like to be variable, right? I want my engineering teams to be experimenting with things and to be only using resources when they are needed. And that's going to be if we have that kind of a model, our cost profile over time is going to be sort of strange looking. It's all up and down. And as a finance or procurement person looking to make a commitment to a cloud provider or to multiple cloud providers or to any kind of vendor, I don't want to be locked into something for a long period of time if I don't know that I'm going to use it. So that makes me even more reluctant to do those kinds of discount usage. But we buy these forward-looking discounts based on our past usage, and as we all know from our brokers, what do they say? Past performance is no indication of future returns. So the discounts that we buy do have a place in the overall practice of FinOps. They are all oftentimes sort of the biggest discounts we get over time, because incrementally usage optimization is going to be smaller on a per item basis. But not only is this this approach is sort of potentially wasteful if we buy the wrong things, but it ignores the vast majority of the workforce that we're trying to engage. And that is the engineers who are at the edges of our organization, who we've intentionally empowered with the ability to commit our organizations to spending, right? To write infrastructure as code, to launch resources on our behalf. And this is a very scary thing for many of the finance and procurement and leadership folks who may not have the experience, may not have the muscle memory to say what looks like good cloud usage and what looks like bad cloud usage. So what we need, when we look forward and we say, what are we going to need this month? In this February example here, am I going to have a tall block or a short one? I need to know about all the things that I'm using. And so organizations need to move beyond that sort of approach on that one set of approach on buying discounts and focusing on that rate optimization, and move into more usage optimization, because they say in the cloud you pay for only what you need, but that's not quite true. What we all realize that eventually is that you pay for what you run, whether you need it or not. And so the real gold in this is being able to use less, to increase optimization of things you are running, and eventually architect your systems for cost efficiency from the very beginning. And so, in looking at this and thinking about why don't organizations just start with the usage optimization or just start with architecture, of course, it's because, leaders and product owners need to engage with engineers. We need to go and work with the engineers. And while that sounds like it might be easy, it's not. It's a very difficult thing to do, especially in organizations with huge numbers of developers or huge numbers of engineers. Over the past 3 years of the State of FinOps survey, this is a survey, this is data that's available on our website, data.finops.org. All of the top and all that information is available for you to use and to look at if that's helpful to you. The number one challenge that FinOps teams were suggesting that they had was engaging with engineers to take action. It's been consistently the top challenge for the last 3 years. And is that because engineers are bad people? No, it's because we're pushing that responsibility down to the edges of the organization, right? Vastly more people are now approving spending by launching things that we're going to have to pay for. And we're now working in public cloud environments that have this sort of unlimited, crab leg salad bar of new services that, unlike the data center, no one is ever going to call you and say, hey, stop using so much of our logging server, right? The cloud says, bring it on. We can take all that log data. You can launch resources that are gigantic. We need to have the controls on how engineers are using those things, and the familiarity, of responsibility, a culture of responsibility among all of the engineers and the different people in our organization. engineers are learning this new environment too. A lot of new services, new development paradigms, new ways of getting things done. And demand is also stronger than ever for digital services, right? This is increasingly the value our organizations are bringing to our customers. So everyone here is busy. Everyone is overworked. There's not enough time to do all the different things. But this is a challenge that is common to most organizations in having to figure out ways to effectively engage engineers to actually take those actions. There we go. So even though this is challenging, this is essentially exactly what the FinOps team is here to do. And so good news from that perspective, we're here to foster collaboration across all of the different personas in our organizations to get engineering and finance and product and leadership and everyone involved together to engage with one another, to look at our cost and usage data in a consistent way using consistent tools, and to help all the other personas who need to be involved in the process, be that IT security folks or ITAM folks or others who are sort of allied people that are involved, allied personas in our process as well. We're here to help manage the cloud more effectively. And this is the very definition of FinOps, right? This is our a newly launched definition of FinOps. This has been approved by our Technical Advisory Council just a couple of weeks ago. And is now on the website. But FinOps now this is a slight change from the previous one, but it's an operational framework and a cultural practice. As I said that before, it's both the things you have to do to increase value and save cost in the cloud, as well as the cultural practice of having that accountability across the organization so that everyone can work together on this massive change to the way we build and buy IT. So we're here to maximize the business value for the organization, not just save money, but make sure that we're getting the most value out of the cloud dollars that we're spending or money that we're spending. We're here also to enable that timely, data-driven decision making. This is inherent to the problem of not having everyone in the organization being very familiar, not having worked with cloud our whole careers the way we have in data centers, some of us. And so, having that data to actually drive our decision making makes our decisions better if we don't have the context to make them on our own. And last, we want to create the financial accountability, right? I want to make sure that whatever we're buying is going to be the thing that's going to be actually generating value, actually worth the money that we're spending on it. And we do that through that collaboration, as I said, between engineering, finance, business teams, and everyone else in the organization. No one persona or discipline can drive, effective cloud use. Engineering can't do it by itself. Leadership can't do it by itself. Finance neither. So organizing benefits. The organization benefits when everyone is able to work together, when we're able to allow engineers to do what they do, and we are able to provide that information back to leadership and finance so that they can see what's going on and they're comfortable with what the governance that's in place, and we provide transparency for the whole organization to look at. So in this process, we're making cost and value information more readily available to everybody. We're putting information in the path of engineers and others in the organization. We want, not to say, go to this new thing or here, implement this new process, but here's the data that you're using. Here's the information that you have. As Steph was saying, the budget alerting and that is available, and anomaly alerting that's available. Those are additional elements of intelligence, right? Additional observability about your application that give you key insights right at the moment that you need them, to say, hey, we're trending in a way that we're going to violate what we expect to be spending this month. And that's a hugely valuable thing for engineers to have. We want that information to be able to come to you without having to send you to different processes than you're used to doing right now. And we want to provide the recommendation, tooling, context, and support, the FinOps team does, to bring you more up to speed on cloud. We don't want to, come in with a pile of recommendations and say, hey, can you spend a bunch of hours looking through this long stack of things to do with us? No, we want to be able to give you things that say, just click here to address this, or here are the things that other parts of the organization, other engineering teams are doing. Here's help with forecasting or budgeting. If you don't know how to budget your application for the next month, talk to your FinOps team and they may be able to help you to do that. They may be able to provide best practices from other engineering teams, as I said, or look at some of the routine tasks that other parts of the organization are doing. And this is really where it comes down to the value that that an open source tool like Cloud Custodian can bring, right? We want the FinOps teams often have technical experience, often have people who are experienced with scripting and being cloud engineers before, or being cloud architects before. So use that to the advantage of your team if you can. We want to build the automation using common tools that everyone can understand and everyone can rely on in an organization. So many teams are using these products. This is the number one. Another data point from our State of FinOps survey was that this is the Cloud Custodian is the number one open source tool that is used by our community to do automation and to use in their FinOps practice. So we want to start off with notifications. We want to then advance ourselves to taking action, right? So there's the detecting that a problem exists or detecting that a policy violation is out there. Then there's the notifying and taking manual action sort of step, and then there's the correct and automate, and that works with our crawl, walk, run maturity model as well as part of FinOps. The FinOps practice uses that as a metaphor to say, look, start simple. Start with just detecting things that you think are problems in the environment, and then work your way up to more complicated processes after there. I think is it Gall's law that no complicated or every complicated process that works started as a simple process that worked. Build up from simple basic building blocks, and you'll be more effective to do that. Because engineering is starting off with what's familiar also. It's not just a problem that engineering that leadership and finance share. It's that we look at we build with virtual analogs, we build with incremental substitutions, but we really want our engineering teams in most organizations to go deeper. We want to see architecture changes. We want to see cloud native cloud services replacing things that we might have used in the data center because we owned a license for them. We want to see application modernization and new development models and incorporating new services or SaaS substitution. We want to see that more complicated work happening. And if we're asking engineering teams instead to do kind of automation, that can be a difficult thing to do. So the FinOps team again can help with some of that work, because we don't want I love the cartoons, and you're going to need a minute to look at them. This is where the FinOps team can help, because we want to routinize a lot of the detection of common conditions. We want to routinize the automation of policy and the cleanup of those things where we can. And we want to use that as a way to filter what a FinOps team has to actually go to an engineering team and talk about doing. Eliminate some of the noise, give you more time to do those important, more detailed things, and get back to the business value that we're trying to get to without having to reinvent the wheel. So I mentioned our State of FinOps data on automation. This is sort of my call to action for everybody who's here. Investing in automation sooner makes sense. This was our 2023 data that looked at whether who's automating tasks within the different capabilities. You'll see the capabilities or the topic areas down here on the left-hand side. Who's automating those things? And we see that there's not a lot of real automation happening still. There's some in some of these areas, but not in as many areas as I would like to. And those green areas of not doing anything yet is sort of troubling. If I can build more of that automation, another data point that I couldn't share because I couldn't get approval to share this yet. We're not publishing it, but in a few, probably in a week or so, we'll be publishing our 2024 State of FinOps data. One of the questions we asked in there was, how automated are each of the things that you're doing? And in almost all cases, there was very little non-human automation going on. There was a lot of some detection going on, some of the sort of second stage of I've detected it, now I'm calling for human intervention to do that. Very little automation. So I would rather I'd rather use use Cloud Custodian to do more of these kinds of this kind of automation, to have the simple steps, just the detection of issues, detection of waste, detection of policy and governance violation in place, so that our FinOps teams could then help to advance that, and engineering teams can get involved in making that more complex over time. So my call to action to you, please share your stories. Our reducing waste, we've had a reducing waste working group on the FinOps.org website, in the FinOps community for a while now, for over almost a year. And we are starting to put this information on our website. This is a screenshot from our website. The link is down below, and I'll put that into the chat after I get done talking here in a second. If you're writing automation using Cloud Custodian, I would love for you to contribute that to the community, right? That can be one of the biggest areas of value, to share that with the community. How are we consistently using those kinds of policies that we're writing to do a better job of waste management, to do a better job of governance? And it creates a great way for your FinOps team also to reference good policy and practice throughout your organization. So share with them, share with us if you can, and go and meet with your FinOps team, because they are going to be very happy to meet you. And with that, I know I think I'm a minute over, so apologies for that, but thank you for letting me talk today. Please share your stories with us. Get in touch if you can. If you would like to join our community, there's one of those little funny QR codes down there. You can click on that and or take a picture of that and join. We would love to have you involved in the FinOps community more.